Hey everyone, welcome to our Changing Meters primer. So we're just going to quickly go over how to deal with changing meters, and specifically ones with a steady note value and ones with a steady beat value. So for some kinds of meter transitions, this is irrelevant because they'll both be the same. When we have a steady note value, we're talking about things like eighth note equals eighth note, so that the eighth note pulse will stay the same. And it actually doesn't matter whether we say it's an eighth note or a quarter note or a half note pulse that stays the same. It's still the note values that are staying the same. But some of them will have a steady beat value, and that will make a difference when, for example, we are transitioning from a simple meter to a compound meter. So you know, as I've said many times, that if we are in a compound meter like 6/8, that doesn't mean that we have 6 eighth note beats. That means that we have 2 dotted quarter note beats. And so if we go from 2/4 to 6/8, we are going to go from 2 quarter note beats to 2 dotted eighth note or dotted quarter note beats. So I might say that a steady beat value might be expressed as quarter note becomes dotted quarter note. So we're going to see a bunch of these things in practice, but for now, let's just write out some meter changes and talk about how we would do them. So first I've created just a series of simple meter time signatures, meter signatures, that we can just conduct our way through. Steady note value and steady beat value is going to be exactly the same for these, but just practice conducting through them. So we'll also count, and we'll count eighth notes. So let's just conduct our way through it. Ready, go. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and. So that's both a steady note value and a steady beat value. So none of that was complicated. In fact, it was all simple. It was all simple meter. All right, but let me put up some complications. So let's put in some compound meter stuff. Okay, so now we have a series of meters that change between simple and compound meter. Let's first try these with a steady note value. That means that the eighth note will stay the same. Because the eighth note stays the same, that means that the beats in the compound meter portions will be longer. The beats will become longer, but the note values will stay the same. So we'll keep the steady eighth note value. Let's try counting through these meters together. And in the simple meter, I'll just count 1 and 2 and etc. And when we do the compound meters, forgive me if this is a different system than what you are used to using. I'm just going to say 1 and 2 and so forth. So that obviously the ands happen in different places. They're just a way of subdividing the time. All right, so here we go. Steady note value through this sequence of meters. Ready, go. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay, did that make sense? The pulse of that always stayed the same. The eighth note pulse always stayed the same. Now, the other thing that we can do is use a steady beat value to transition between those meters. And that means that the note values will get faster in compound meter. Now, they won't get just generically faster. They won't get somewhat faster. They will get very specifically faster. They will have the relationship to the duple feel in simple meter of triplets. They will have the same speed as triplets would in those simple meters. So for example, just going between 2/4 and 6/8, it would sound like 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and. So let's try counting through this whole section that I wrote, that I've got in a box, with a steady beat value. Also, I suppose I should have pointed out before, but remember to translate in your head that 6/8 is 2 dotted quarter note beats, that 12/8 is 4 dotted quarter note beats, and that 9/8 is 3 dotted quarter note beats. All right? So remember that this is going to be conducted in 2, this is going to be conducted in 4, this is going to be conducted in 3. Ready? Let's start from the top and do it with a steady beat value. Here we go. Ready, go. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So that's the difference between moving between steady note value and using a steady beat value. Now, I've got several other videos already posted that deal with this and give you a chance to do dictations in one or the other of these changing meters. Good luck.